more about the issues raised during the ANC's January 8th statement. We're joined tonight, well, this afternoon by MK veteran Gregory Nthatisi. Mr. Nthatisi, a very good afternoon to you. Welcome to the program. So you've just been listening, if you were able to hear, to the chairperson of the ANC in Limpopo, Stelima Tabata, basically nailing the province's colours to the mast as far as who it wants to be president post this year's elective conference. Some have criticized him, saying it's ill-discipline to make these remarks publicly before the nomination process has begun. Would you agree?
The structures of the ANC are entitled to, from time to time, lobby themselves around who should lead the ANC, and I do not see any fundamental crisis around what the chairperson of Limpopo has indicated, particularly in that his statement is informed by the activities that come from regional conferences in his province. So when the process of lobbying is open, it tends to be open for a national process. But this is a provincial matter that get expression through the chairperson of the province on the basis of the mandate he has received from his province. So there's honestly nothing wrong. It's not an ANC to do so.
Let's talk then about the January 8th statement delivered by the president of the party, Cyril Ramaphosa, crafted by the NEC, of course. Was it an honest assessment of the state of the ANC and the state of the country currently?
Indeed, it was. It's a clarion call to members of the ANC to say the assessment made by the organization has taken us this far, and with mainly outlining 5 priorities, demonstrating where the ANC needs to strengthen itself in order to be able to face the challenges ahead. So that was an honest, it's actually a tradition of the movement that January statement must always set a path for us to take our true form.
Mm-hmm. The argument then has been it's somewhat pointless to have an honest January 8th statement because there have been many before that have spoken, for example, internally about organizational renewal, discipline, fighting factionalism, yet all of that continues. At country level, it's not the first time we've spoken about the desperate economic situation, the crisis of job losses, gender-based violence, yet on those 3 scores as well, little has changed. So what is the point?
At the back of my mind, I'm thinking hard to say, who has ever led democracy in this country except the ANC? Mm-hmm. And I'm also thinking very hard as to who has ever experienced the problems that we're experiencing as an organization. Nobody, no one ever led a process as the one that we're leading. Some of the problems that we're faced with, we never anticipated them as we did not traverse this road before. However, we are facing these challenges from time to time as they present themselves, and we're striving at all costs as the organization through our leadership to provide solutions. Challenges will remain to be there, and challenges must be attended by people. In this case, the organization as the torchbearer and a leader of the people of this country has always, for all these years, experienced some of the problems that we are alluding to. And I think we need to also be alive to the fact that in any process of development, you will always come across detractors. Some of them will pose as being with you, when in actual fact would have come into the pot with an intention to derail changes that we must experience a better form in this time. So some of these challenges, they will come in one form or the other. For all, what we need to do is to actually tackle them.
The challenge, though, that you're facing with that explanation is that many South Africans who had stood with the ANC over the decades are increasingly running out of patience, as reflected by the performance of the party in the November elections. And it has been a continuous decline in voter support. And once you lose that, what will be left of the ANC?
Indeed, like I said, we did not expect that when we get into position of authority, we will be surrounded by corrupt elements here and there. We actually abuse systems of either the ANC and that of the ruling party. Those are the
All right, we're having a bit of an issue with our connection to Gregory Nthatisi, an MK veteran, speaking to us in response to the January 8th statement as outlined. Mr. Nthatisi, if you're able to hear me, we'd lost you there for a bit. If you could just pick up on the point that you were just making a second ago.
No, I was saying, if you can hear me now.
Yes, we can hear you now.
I was saying, some of the elements that, you can hear me now. Some of the elements that have joined the ANC came with corrupt tendencies that we never expected. Some of the elements came to join us to come and derail the course that we're actually leading. And these are some of the things that have irritated the people, our people in general, our supporters, the people of this country. And the statement, as read by the president, allude to the fact that we are cognizant and aware of some of these tendencies. We will renew ourselves, we will internalize our problems, and ensure that we get rid of some of these tendencies that have actually presented themselves before us. We'll come back to our people as that vehicle that they themselves have chose as the only and the best, which derives its mandate from its own people. In any case, our policies are people's driven. They are not policies that we sit around the table and think around them. They are informed by the Freedom Charter, which is a document that comes from the hearts and minds of the people of this country. So we are on point and we are aware. And for that, we'll work hard to ensure that we account and come a better organization before the eyes of our people.
How do you accomplish that when at the very top levels of your leadership there are clear splits in vision for the party and who's right and who's wrong?
We have embarked on a serious journey to distinguish who is a revolutionary, who is a member of the ANC, and who is with us but not understanding where the organization is heading to in terms of its policy. And that is one of the mechanisms that will help us to cleanse the movement of all these elements that have come in for purposes of self-enrichment, personal aggrandizement, and populism. Those are the things that we're alive to. And I think the statement, as well as the NEC and our national conference, has assigned our leadership and our membership to begin to be harsh on these things. And we'll do what we could. And this is an opinion that I think need to hold.
Okay.
To reprimand people, to set people on the right track, but including paging those people that are incorrigible. Let me use the term incorrigible.
So let me ask you this then. With about 3 minutes left for our conversation, who are the people who need to be purged?
Well, I don't think I would be in a position to do so, because those are internal matters of the organization that we must deal with internally. And those that would actually face the hammer of being purged are those that are incorrigible and would have demonstrated that beyond reproach they cannot reconcile with the discipline of the organization.
So there's a bit of drama on Friday night at the gala where President Cyril Ramaphosa, as he was concluding his speech, the power went out. It was the only building in that area, as we understand it, that lost power. The police minister, as well as NEC member Begigwele, confirming that an investigation is now being conducted into interference with electricity supply at that venue. Do you believe that it was aimed at embarrassing President Ramaphosa?
Well, can't we leave that to the security forces to arrive at an answer? But to be honest with you, we are not to be harassed by tendencies that in themselves would want to impact on derailing us. There are a number of investigations that are in process as we speak, and we actually are abiding to the rule of law. So we will subject ourselves to whatever comes out of that product. But I think those leaders of Limpopo and the leaders that the NEC leaders that were in those occasions were able to handle the situation to no alarming rate. So I don't think it really would actually invite that we should begin to panic that the president or the organization's life is under threat. In no way that we can actually begin to think that way.
What do you say? I saw someone remarking online, in fact, yesterday, saying the ANC is 110 years old. That's beyond the life expectancy of the average person and perhaps beyond the life expectancy of any well-functioning political organization. I mean, as we know, in Africa alone, most liberation movements of the generation of the ANC have all died out to become much smaller versions of themselves. Do you think that's where the party is headed if it does not change?
You see, the policies of the ANC are based on scientific principles and discipline. Can you hear me then?
Yes, I can hear you now.
The principles of the ANC, the policies, the programs, are based on scientific principles, and they derive their mandate from time to time from the communities of this country. Now, that in itself injects new life, new thinking, and new approach in leading the revolution and, ensuring that there is democratic principles and change that should be in line with the need and the interest of the people of this country. Now, we're not a dormant organization that does not consult, which in itself does not refresh, renew. Even the challenges that we're facing with, are the challenges that in themselves impact on change. At the point when we have provided solutions through also the commission that the president has spoken about on renewal, watch the space and see how the ANC will emerge as a victor in terms of addressing the challenges of this country. We might be new, we might be old in terms of age, but we are new in terms of bringing new ideas to the South African situation. There was never democracy before, we brought that. There was never openness in this country, we brought that. There was never a democratic constitution in this country, we brought that. And all these things are new, fresh, inviting, and they are in keeping and in tune with the interest of the people of this country.
Gregory Nthatisi, MK veteran, good to speak to you. Thank you for your time, sir.